Hey, somebody's got to find the answer for world peace. You have? Excellent. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. You are listening to the Professional Noticer. Hello, everyone. I'm Andy Andrews. Hey, thank you for making me a part of your week. My purpose here today and with every show we do is to play the part of a best friend or coach. I want to help you live the life of your wildest dreams by giving you access to the greatest mentors the world has to offer today. The Professional Noticer is sponsored this week by our friends at Tucker ATV. You know, the variety of power sport products at Tucker ATV just blows my mind. Hustler turf equipment, the entire line of Echo power tools, and of course Tucker ATV carries every make and model of Polaris ATVs. They have the big ones, the little ones. Actually, you have to see the showroom to believe this place. The taxidermy, the antique displays, and I love the indoor customer service porch. It's indoors, it has a porch swing, comfortable chairs, television, free coffee. Man, at Tucker ATV, they treat customers like family, which is why folks from many states do business with Tucker ATV. Visit Tucker ATV's Facebook page and read Lisa's articles, or visit Shannon and Lisa in person. Highway 43 North in Jackson, Alabama. Tucker ATV, the small town business with a national reputation. Observations and answers, that's what we do here on the Professional Noticer. And we love it when we have a guest that comes to the table with both. And we have such a guest today. And, you know, I am excited about this guest for several different reasons. One is because she is a representative of my state. And another is because I got to watch her grow up. And I'm excited about this for many different reasons. And I love introducing people I love to people I love. And so I would like to introduce to my friends, my friend, Miss Alabama, Lauren Bradford. Hey, Lauren.
Hey, how are you?
We're doing great. We're so excited. Everybody was so excited to have you on the podcast this morning. And so thank you for joining us.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. I feel like this is such a full circle moment like we were talking about earlier. It's just crazy to know that I grew up knowing you and your family and Austin and everything, graduated with him. So how is he doing?
He's doing great. He's doing great. I told him, I said, well, guess who I'm having this morning? I'm having Lauren. He said, oh, really? Tell her hi. And so you and Austin went to kindergarten and elementary school together, and we have watched you grow. You are the first Alabama to win Miss Alabama from the Gulf Coast ever.
Yeah. That is honestly such an honor. And I didn't know that until I became Miss Alabama and started researching it. And I thought surely there has been a Miss Alabama at least from Baldwin County, and there hasn't been. The closest is there's been several from Mobile County, but I'm the very first from Baldwin County, and of course the very first from Gulf Shores and the coastal area. So that is something that I'm really proud of, and I'm super excited to bring that to the table this year as Miss Alabama.
You know, we are proud of you in this area, but I have to say, it's not a surprise, you know, because we watched you as a little girl, and we were all going, yeah, she's going to be Miss Alabama one day. She'll be in the Miss America pageant one day. And, you know, when you were crowned Miss Alabama, a lot of us, you know, it wasn't like, oh my gosh. It was like, yeah, okay. You told you. So we're so excited for it. How did this all begin? Let people know how the kind of beginnings of getting involved in that.
Well, actually, it's funny because growing up, I would consider myself a self-proclaimed tomboy, and I skateboarded in my free time and everything. And then I was even in ROTC, which was a really cool experience in high school. And so that was fun. But then when I was a freshman in high school, while I was in ROTC, someone told me about Miss Gulf Shores High School. And so I found out about that and knew that there was an interview. And so I thought it would be a great experience. So I just decided to enter it actually with my mom's prom dress from the 80s. Like literally that's what I wore. It was great. And I ended up winning Miss Gulf Shores High School as a freshman. And so that was my first exposure to a competition like that. And as you know, pageants are not a huge thing in our area. So a family friend actually told me about a preliminary to Miss Alabama's Outstanding Teen, which is the sister program to Miss Alabama. And it's also a scholarship organization. That is the primary goal of that program, is to provide young women the opportunity to graduate from college debt free. So I started doing that, and I ended up becoming Miss Alabama's Outstanding Teen. So I got to serve in that role. And that time when I was 17, holding that title really showed to me why I wanted to be Miss Alabama one day, because I learned that it's really misleading with the crown and the sash and the dresses and everything, but it's about so much more. It's about impacting your community and engaging in service on a level unprecedented that you may not have experienced before. And being able to make an impact like that was something that I wanted to do with my time. And not to mention the scholarships. So throughout my involvement in the teen and now in Miss Alabama, I've been awarded over $280,000 in cash and in-kind scholarships. And so I graduated from Auburn debt free, and I'm now pursuing my graduate degree at Vanderbilt. And that's all because of the scholarships. So that's really how I got started and why I stayed in. And I'm really thankful for this program. It's really changed my life in more ways than one.
Wow. So what were challenges? I mean, because in the ninth grade, when you won Miss Gulf Shores High School, and I remember that. I wonder, like, you have your eye on the next level, but what came up during that time? What were challenges that you had to overcome during that time, just in the run up to actually entering and competing for Miss Alabama?
Yeah, honestly, I've learned so many things throughout this. And one thing that I think I came face to face with, which I'm sure that you and your family can relate to, is that sometimes when you have an ambitious heart or a lot of goals, that's not always the most well received thing. And being an ambitious person is not the popular person in the room all the time, because you want to make a positive difference and not everyone does. And that's okay. But that is something that I didn't realize I was going to deal with, was criticism just for going out there and chasing my goals. And so I had to really take a step back and realize, what are the voices that I really care about, that I actually want to listen to and be a part of my life and be a part of this journey? And what are the voices that I just need to tune out? Because ultimately this is my goal and this is why I want to do this. And I'm not going to let these voices get in the way. And so it's unfortunate that is our culture, that is perpetuated by, looking down upon those who are ambitious and not always supporting those. So I've just had to find my people, and that's probably been the biggest challenge.
I think that you can be a great encourager and a great advocate for proper thinking in that area, because I know I talk to people who deal with teenagers a lot now, and I say, well, what is the biggest thing teens struggle with today? And overwhelmingly, it is, being singled out and not being accepted as part of and it is curious to me. I made an observation a while back that it is amazing to me that everybody wants to make a difference, but nobody seems willing to be different. And if you asked teenagers, who do you most admire? They invariably talk about adults who have succeeded at a different level, and they talk about adults like you. They look to you now, and they're like, oh my gosh, Lauren Bradford, look at her sitting with the governor last week, and so. But the connection that I feel needs to be made somewhere along the line is the reason they admire these people is because they live different lives. They have different choices, and the connection that they need to make is that somewhere along the line, they had to become, to end up in a different place, those people had to become comfortable with being seen as different. Mm. And so to see the choices that you have made and kept a smile on your face, and it's uplifting. And I think there's a lot of young women and young men who need to hear your story.
Thank you so much. And I completely agree. And I think that success and to some degree is being comfortable with also being uncomfortable and putting yourself in situations that stretch you so much more and push you outside of your comfort zone. So I also read this book once that really inspired me called Do Hard Things. Also, I'm a voracious reader, and I think that everyone should be. And I know that you are too, because you're a voracious writer. But I read this book called Do Hard Things, and it really inspired me because it talked about our culture is not one that is acclimated to pushing themselves into doing hard things, but the young people who do the hard things and become comfortable in uncomfortable situations are the ones that achieve success. So I think just pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone and realizing that, why do you want to be like the people who are all around you who aren't doing hard things, or do you want to be different? And so I completely agree that being comfortable being different is a game changer for sure. It's not the easiest thing. It's easier said than done, for sure, though.
It's not, but the rewards are there. The rewards are there, and I really think you have you've done a great thing, not only in what you've done, but in thinking through that process so that you can communicate the process and the potential results to somebody who's not yet entered the process. I think
Well,
I think that's important, because there's a lot of people who know how to do a certain thing. I think there's probably tons of people who know how to compete in pageants and know how to compete for scholarships. I think there's tons of people who know how. But you are one of the people that I look at that why it has worked as it has. And so when you're able to explain why what you have done works, has had the thinking process, it makes it more doable for people.
Yeah. When you have a why behind anything, it makes sense. Like, why would you do something if you don't have a why behind it? So I think finding what works for you as a person, what sets your soul on fire, isn't the quote from Maya Angelou, find what sets your soul on fire and do it with purpose. I don't know if I just butchered that, but just really finding what you believe in and pursuing it with intention and not letting the small things stop you on that path.
Right. So what does a typical day look like for you? You're in Birmingham right now, and you're at the Miss Alabama headquarters. So what does a typical day look like for you? I mean, we just kind of pop in on you. I saw you sitting with the governor last week, and I was like, wow, there's Lauren. And so what does it look like for you? What happens?
Yeah. Every day is very different. Today is one of my busiest days in a hot second. So this morning at 7, I had a workout with a personal trainer because he is sponsoring me as I prepare to compete for Miss America. So that's, sometimes people don't realize that it goes a step further than this. Like, I will compete for the job of Miss America, which is so crazy and so exciting. And also, fun fact, I'm the 100th Miss Alabama, and I'll be competing for the 100th Miss America. So it's the centennial celebration. We're celebrating our 100th birthday this year. So I'm actually going to Connecticut in a few weeks for the 100-year celebration. So super exciting times. So you're
the 100th Miss Alabama?
Yes. It's kind of crazy. It's an honor to represent 100 years of history, and people don't realize that this program is so old and it's evolved so much throughout time and continuously been about women's empowerment and just making a difference on the world. So I'm very proud to be a part of an organization that has so much history because it's not new at all. So it's kind of cool being a part of a household name also like Miss America. So I'm excited about that.
So personal trainer at 7 a.m.
Yes. So his name is Biggie. He's the best. And so that's early. And then I got ready and came here. After this, I'll have a phone call with a parent talking about unplugging and putting your phones down and developing a plan for their family and how they can implement technology, balance of use. Then after that, I'm meeting with the Alabama State Department of Education because I have a couple of goals that I would love to do as Miss Alabama implementing into the public school system. So we can definitely talk more about that if we want to. And then later I have an Instagram live with Miss South Carolina to talk about unplug and also being real on social media. So today is kind of a lot of things have to do with my social impact initiative called Unplug, the Digital Diet Plan, and just talking about that to different entities and things like that. But then other days, last Friday, I was at a watermelon festival judging watermelons and eating a lot of fair food. So things like that and traveling the state. So it's really exciting. And I'm actually coming to the coast quite a bit. I'm coming for Shrimp Festival. So I'll be there for that. I'm super pumped. So all kinds of stuff and a lot of travel for sure. So my car has gotten a lot of mileage.
That is great. So you're talking to Miss South Carolina today.
Yes, on Instagram. So it'll be at 6 p.m. Central. So if anybody wants to tune in, I'll be on there.
maybe I shouldn't bring this up, but I actually emceed the Miss South Carolina contest one year. This is like 20-something years ago. But and I can say this because we're all listening to you, and we're very aware of your social skills, your intelligence, and you are not the stereotype we've been taught to believe about a beauty pageant contestant. But I have to tell you that when I hosted, I emceed that contest, this was years ago, and it got down to the final five, and the young ladies chose a question. This was before, videos or camera videos or YouTube or anything like that. And so I wish I had a video of this to send you, but I hope whoever this was is not watching this. But but the question was, what city in the world would you most like to visit, and why? And her answer was,
Okay.
I would most like to visit Paris, London, because I hear it is very nice.
Oh, my heart is breaking.
I was like, okay, thank you.
I bet it was hard in your position to keep a straight face.
I know. It's like, hey, good answer, right? But it was, so it is refreshing, when that stereotype is broken, and it's obvious, the exaggeration of that stereotype the exaggeration of that has become the stereotype, where the reality is more of these young ladies are like you, and they're intelligent and conversant, and so I probably shouldn't even have said that.
That's hilarious.
What was going through your mind when you're waiting and it's down to, and they're about to say the first runner-up, and if Miss Alabama can't fulfill her duties this first, and was there that moment where you had to think, okay, that's the first, I won? I mean, what was going through your mind?
Well, first of all, I was just thanking the Lord, because my faith is the most important thing in my life. And so throughout the whole thing, I think the only reason I had peace, was because of him. And so that was an answered prayer for sure. So I think there's a video somewhere of me just literally holding her hand saying, thank you, Jesus, because I was just so thankful to be there. And obviously it was my dream to win Miss Alabama, but you never know what can happen. So to be standing in the final two was already an honor in itself. And then the second thing, I was listening for her name, because I've envisioned this moment and I'm like, okay, I need to listen for the right name, because I don't need to think if I hear my name that I won, because they call the first winner up first. So they said her name is Lindsay Fincher. She's great. She is so talented. And they said lit. And as soon as they said like Lindsay, I knew that I had won. And so it was just the most surreal moment ever. Every time I think about it, I get chills and kind of teary all over again. It went by so fast and just such a whirlwind. I don't think you're thinking anything in that moment. I was looking for my family in the audience. So that was just such a whirlwind. And also I was crowned at the historic Alabama Theater. And so we normally have Miss Alabama at the Stanford University Wright Center, but years and years ago, it was held at the Alabama Theater, which has been around for so many years, such a historic part of Birmingham. And so it was cool to be crowned there for the first time in many years. It was like, I'm the 100th Miss Alabama, and we're reminiscent upon our history as a program. So it was very surreal to be in that theater. It's beautiful. So it was honestly just such a surreal moment. I don't even know how to describe it. I wish I was more eloquent in being able to describe it, but I still can't.
that was very good. That brings us right into the moment. Now you're this kind of blows my mind. I mean, I always knew you were a smart kid, but you're a finance major, and now you're in a graduate program at a really smart school and in finance. And so where did this come from? What are you hoping to do with that bent there?
Yeah, so it's funny because I know you know my dad, and he's in finance, he's in banking. And so growing up, I was like, I will never be a banker. I will never go into finance. And it's just so funny how the tables have turned. But all growing up, I wanted to be a doctor. And so my senior year of high school, I did an internship at a hospital. And I know you probably know about this program, but it's a great program because it gives high school students who want to go into the medical field hands-on experience to see if they actually want to do that. And that is where the Lord so graciously opened my eyes that was not going to be for me. And I'm very thankful. No, seriously, I'm very thankful I had that experience because I could still be in medicine and I wouldn't know. But that really revealed to me that's not what I wanted to do. And so growing up, also had received stocks and bonds for Christmases and birthdays. That's what my present was from my dad.
That's
so
that's real touchy feely. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Teddy bear,
I know, right?
Teddy bear, stocks and bonds. Yeah.
Yeah, my mom was more of the let's get her a real gift kind of thing. But it's cool because now I have a portfolio that I've like inherited because my dad's given me these for my gifts. And so I would come home and there'd be an annual report lying on my bed. Like I would go to sleep at night boring myself by reading ExxonMobil annual reports. And so I just have always kind of been exposed to that and had lots of conversations with my dad growing up. And so I was like, I'm just going to give finance a try. I'll switch my major to that. So I went into Auburn as finance and I loved it. I loved it so much. I became a part of this group called Financial Management Association, which prepares students for competitive careers in finance, such as investment banking and consulting and corporate wealth management and things like that. And I was a member of Auburn Student Investment Fund. So we managed a portion of the university's endowment of real money. And we had a portfolio that we dictated what we wanted to invest in which sectors. And so it was the best. I am totally geeking out right now, but I graduated early. I graduated early because of the dual enrollment credit that I had from high school, and I took summer classes. This is kind of getting off in a rabbit hole, but Miss Alabama was postponed a year last summer. And so I didn't have summer plans. That was my summer plans because it's in the middle of summer. And so I decided to take classes. So I took 17 hours of classes while studying for the GMAT graduate school entrance exam. It was brutal. My brother and sister went to the beach every day and I was at home doing class. But it really helped me because I was able to graduate from Auburn in 3 years instead of 4. And because of that, I had scholarships left over and I knew that I wanted to continue my education. So I just decided to apply for Vanderbilt. That's a school I've always loved and wanted to attend one day, maybe for a graduate degree. So that's kind of always been in the back of my mind. And was accepted, best day ever, besides the day winning Miss Alabama probably. And it was great. And so I deferred my spot so I can fulfill the role of Miss Alabama for a year. And I will start next fall instead of this fall. So it has just kind of been a full circle thing to know that now I represent Auburn University and Vanderbilt. They've been super supportive. So it's been a cool journey for sure. Education. I love education. I would be a professional student if I could. So I've just been excited to continue.
Tell me, go back to your plans and your thoughts about education in Alabama and what you have just in your mind about that.
Do you mean just public school system?
Yeah, just about your initiatives that you're planning on getting started.
Yeah. So my social impact initiative is called Unplug the Digital Diet Plan. And it's really about the overuse of technology and how we can have a balance of use, because clearly we're not going to get rid of technology. It improves our lives so much. But I personally believe that it's inhibiting a lot of our communication abilities, a lot of our learning processes in schools, especially when technology is integrated into the classroom settings, and honestly, just our relational time with the people that we love. And so I want to hone in on that message. And part of the way I do that is by speaking to schools and just educating students. Hey, this is maybe how much time is too much time, and this is how we can find a balance. And so whenever I was in middle school with Austin, we were given MacBooks and we really weren't taught how to use them. It was just kind of like, here's a MacBook. And a lot of times that would translate to the students going home at night and playing hours upon hours of video games. And playing video games in class and not listening to their teachers. And I think that's still a problem. There's no standards that are set in our public school systems to teach students how to use technology properly and the boundaries of that. They're just given to our teachers have to show that they're competent in being able to use it. But other than that, there's no standards. And so I would love for there to be educational standards, maybe a one-day class similar to the sex education and the Just Say No to Drugs classes that come into the school and have a couple of hours of educational content and material. I would love to do that with technology and have some sort of curriculum where students are taught, here are the boundaries of what is an acceptable amount of time that we could use on our technology every day, how we can use it for leisure versus actual schoolwork, and just teaching that so that students aren't always growing up being exposed to technology 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I just think that would be really cool to implement in the public school system, especially in Alabama.
That's awesome. I remember when you and Austin got your MacBooks. I remember Austin bringing that home and us asking questions about it. And he said, well, I know how to do this. And I thought, well, yeah, that's really useful that you can save somebody from a castle,
Yeah, literally.
But, oh my gosh. So what does the process look like for you to get ready for December for Miss America?
Yes, it'll be, honestly,
Other
I'll be
than
busy
getting
traveling
up early and working out.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. But just really showcasing that I want to spread my initiatives. That's something that is really important to me. It has been since I was 15 and started discussing this in schools. So hopefully traveling around the state, speaking to schools, that's something that I'm really excited about. And just preparing, honestly, my mind and my body, my spirit. This is a once in a lifetime chance to compete for the job of Miss America. This is literally my only shot. You can't win Miss Alabama twice. This is the only time I will get to compete for the job of Miss America. So just preparing myself to be ready for the job. And if that were to be given to me, and if not, I will get to come back to the state of Alabama and serve it for the entirety of a year, which is such an honor as well. And so just preparing every single day, I want to leave no stone unturned. And also a lot of news. I listen to the news 24/7 to be up to date so that I don't have a fumble on stage question, like you mentioned.
So the city you want to visit is not Paris, London, right?
Yes, it's actually Sydney, Australia.
Yeah,
but
okay.
lock it in. And also, a lot of people don't realize that there's a talent portion of the competition for Miss America, and so I play violin. And so, yeah, I spend hours a day playing violin and curating my talent so that it's ready to be on the Miss America stage. So lots of things that are going into being ready for this job, but also still having my full-time job of traveling the state and spending time with people. So it's an exciting time for sure.
When did you begin playing the violin?
When I was 6. So I've been playing for 15 years now. Yeah, it's been really fun. I've learned a lot.
Yeah, I thought I remembered you as this little girl with the violin as big as her head,
Yeah. I'm sorry if you ever heard me play when I was 6, because it probably sounded like a dying cat. But hopefully I'm better now.
Hey, I got one more question for you, and I'm not trying to be a smart aleck. And I know if you can't answer this question, you can decline. But I would not be doing my job if I didn't ask this, because there are people who are listening to this, who are watching you, and they wonder this. Okay, so you ready?
Okay, ready.
When you're preparing for Miss Alabama, and you're preparing for Miss America, and you're serving as Miss Alabama, how does that affect your dating life?
I knew you were going to ask me that.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask that, because everybody wants to know. Because I look at you and I go, I know. You're smart, you're beautiful, and everybody thinks, oh, she's just got dates. Probably everybody's scared to ask you out on a date. I would have been.
I have faced that. Thanks. Well, thank you, I think. But so I don't have a boyfriend. I did at one point during college, but this has been where my heart is, and this has been where my time has gone. So I feel like it's unfair to any guy that I would date to date him at this point in my life. So my I'm married to the job of Miss Alabama, and that is my viewpoint. So there's other time in life that I have to date and things like that. But
Good.
right now my intentions are solely on this job and being the best Miss Alabama that I possibly can be. So
Good.
thank you for asking.
I will tell you what your dad would probably want me to tell you, which is the truth, and there is time for that. There's
Yes.
time for that. And
Also, I'm a pretty independent person anyways. So a lot of my friends that are getting married right now, I just can't relate to that. So I think that there will be time later for that as well. Like I'm excited about my career and getting started after Miss Alabama's over with that and graduate school. I still have to do that. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
I'm saying that, but God's gonna be like, haha, I have other plans.
yeah,
But we'll see.
my advice is just wait. Your choices will be better.
Yes.
Hey, thank you, Lauren Bradford. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. And any way that we can help, you just feel free to call on us anytime that we can help get a message out or help you personally or professionally. We're honored to be on that list of people willing to do that.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me. This was a blast and just so good to see you again, Mr. Andy. I really appreciate your time. So thank you for having me on.
Thank you. And we'll be watching. I'm Andy Andrews, the professional noticer, harnessing common sense and wisdom to plow through challenges all the way to an answer for you. And I think that'll do it for this week. Get us out of here, Matthew. So, ladies and gentlemen, and to the boys and girls who aspire to become ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of another episode of the Professional Noticer. In a world where common sense has become a superpower, I'm harnessing that tiny bit of mental energy I have for you, seeking wisdom, making observations, and endeavoring to answer tough questions in a way that will empower your family and your business. I'm Andy Andrews. Until next week, goodbye. This episode of The Professional Noticer was produced by Matt Lambert. The Noticer theme written and performed by Sugarcane Jane. Tiaras provided by Twinkle and Smoke of Beverly Hills. Additional financial consideration provided by children'scerealforadults.com. Friends, can you recall what it was like as a 7-year-old to eat Cheerios and be absolutely convinced you were running like the Olympic athlete pictured on the cereal box? Remember when you ate Trix for breakfast and spent the rest of the day as witty as the silly rabbit on the commercials? Well, you can go back to the future now and relive the successes of your childhood by becoming a subscribing member of children'scerealforadults.com. The brain and muscle nutrition are packed into every box you receive, whole grain with additives like advanced hydroponic micronutrients with organic buffers and pure glastotropic inoculizers. But here is where it gets real for you. Each box of children's cereal for adults is labeled with psychologically mind-bending promises about performance like succeed today, lose 50 pounds in a week, or become a millionaire in a month, along with pictures of talking animals that are not only rendered in cartoon form, but profiled with the attributes you most desire. And if that's not enough, the entire contents of your package is drenched in a mononuclear carbohydrate and saccharide source to make breakfast as tasty as it was when you were a child. So go online and subscribe now. That's children'scerealforadults.com, and no, you don't have to be after anyone else's Lucky Charms. You can make your own luck.